Today, we are keep going to look at the John chapter 1, verse 5. As you see on my sermon note here, the light appears. What was the tense? Present tense, right? And then I already explained the reason. And then the light appears where? So today, we are going to talking about the location. And then the Bible is talking about in the darkness. When we're talking about in and inside, right? And then also there is no movement. And then Greek word is en. En is the fixed. And then en talking about the place. And talking about the status. So the light appears, the location is in the darkness. And then about that, and then John chapter 1 verse 5 talking about in the darkness. But when we go to the 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6 through 7, the location is exactly show up there. The where is in my heart. So let's start from there. Let's go to look at the 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 6. English translate Bible says, for it is the God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, who has shone in our heart to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But we have this treasure where? In earthen vessels, that the excellence of the power may be of God and not of us. We are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. So here Apostle Paul is talking about 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6, 7, and then mentioned from the Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, talking about the light. And then I already explained the light in Genesis chapter 1. The first word is the Bereshit. Bereshit is translated as in the beginning, but I explained the meaning of the Hebrew, which is in my sealed head. That in my sealed head, exactly location is inside me, right? Head and the heart. So Bible is talking about my internal status. Bible is talking about my internal salvation process using the 7 days process. They're talking about Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 through Genesis chapter 2 verse 3. So here talking about hoti ho theos. When we're looking at the Greek word, I would like to make it opposite so for the watcher they can look at easier. Hoti ho theos, ho epon, the God, the one said, ek scotus, out of darkness, pos lampsai, the light to shine. So light to shine, right? Where? Pos elampsen en tais cardias hemon pros potismon tes gnosis tes doxes tu deu en prosopo Jesu Christu. It's talking about He shined, right? Where? In our hearts. Forward, brightness of the knowledge of the glory of the God in face of Christos Jesus. So Christos Jesus is a great light. He shined. He shined into my heart. Then what is the content of the light? That is the light of the knowledge, isn't it? Which is the God's knowledge, right? That's why Christos Jesus was sent by the Father to deliver the message of God. That's why when we go to the New Testament Hebrews, chapter 2 is talking about Christos Jesus mentioned as the apostles. Christos is mentioned as the chief high priest who sent by the God Father. So he's delivering the knowledge. That's why here 2 Corinthians also written by the Apostle Paul, right? So Apostle Paul also do the same work. He delivering the knowledge of the God. So he shine into my heart, into earthen vessels. That is my heart. And then when we go to the verse 5, we do not preach ourselves, but Christ Jesus the Lord, right? And then that is the verse 4 talking about the light of the gospel of glory of Christ, who is the image of God, right? That image of God is shine into my heart. So image of God appeared as the gospel. Then gospel is the knowledge of God that shine into my heart. Then I repeatedly say that what is the gospel then? Evangelion, that is the good message. That good message is Christos Jesus, born, crucifixion, resurrection, and presence, right? All those things happening where? Inside me, because that light shine in my heart. So all those things happening inside me, which is the together processing. That's why I mentioned last two sermon talking about the Lord, right? The messenger of Lord, who is the last Adam, like Apostle Paul, like a second Adam, Jesus Christ, who is the last Adam together with me. That is the light, isn't it? That is the light. So about 2 Corinthians 4:6-7 talking about in my heart, in my flesh, in earthenware vessels, right? So this is the Apostle Paul's experience that he already experienced. That's why he written in 2 Corinthians. When we go to the New Testament Act, it talking about exactly about Apostle Paul's experience. Let's go to the Act 26:13-18. New Testament Act 26:13. And midday, you know, this talking about and midday, this is a wrong translation. If you look at the Greek text here, hemeras meses. Hemera is the day, right? And there is no preposition. And then meses is middle, center. So middle of day. And then kata ten hodon. English translate along the road, right? But kata, which is down from the way. Christos Jesus is the way, right? That's why he says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. No one comes to Father except through me. So down from the way of Jesus Christ. Not another way, right? Exactly Jesus' way. And then Apostle Paul saw a light from heaven, brighter than the sun, right? But this is not the also wrong translation, brighter than sun. Look at the brighter than sun in the Greek text. Hyperten lamproteta tu helion. Hyper is the beyond, right? Beyond, over, okay? Beyond the brightness of the sun, right? Beyond the brightness of the sun. Because the sun is the Christos Jesus. Christos Jesus is not only the sun, but also the way, right? So Christos Jesus, sun, Christos Jesus way, it comes down where? Center of day, right? So apostle meet this one, and then shining around me, those who journeyed with me. And when we all fall onto the ground, I heard a voice speaking to me saying in the Hebrew language, Saul, Saul. Why Christos Jesus using the Hebrew language? Yes, obviously, he knows the Hebrew language. At the same time, he knows the Greek language. Then, Apostle Paul knows both the language. And then why in this case, instead of say Paul and Paul, why the Lord Jesus mentioned about Saul? Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? it is hard for you to kick against the goad. Because the Christos Jesus mentioned the Saul is because Saul needs to transform to become the Paul. There is a reason. If you look at the Saul here, 45, 49, Saul, right? Let's go to look at the meaning of Saul. 45, 49. 45, 49. You see Saul, the Jewish name of Paul, that Hebrew origin is what? 75, 86. 75, 86, Shaul. Shaul means what? Asked. Ask. And then that comes from the passive participle of 75, 92. Inquire, request, demand, right? Which is a pronunciation in Hebrew is shar. Shar. So when sun down from the way, the sun is day of middle of day, which is the center of the day. So Apostle Paul is in the center of the day, okay? Among the 7th day, he is in the top, okay? He is in the top. He thought he's in the top, right? But he has to be what? Come down, right? He has to be fall. He has to be humble, right? Because he is persecuting all Christians at the time in the historical viewpoint, isn't it? Right? So he thought that he got the answer. But he was a blindness, isn't it? That's why Jesus talking to the Pharisees, Sadducees, and scribes. When we go to the Matthew chapter 23, and then Jesus talking to the hypocrites, Pharisee, you are blindness, right? Blind leads the blind. So Saul is the blindness. That's why he thought he got the answer. He knows, he understands the Bible. He thought he's doing the will of God, but he needs to become the Saul status, isn't it? He needs to inquire. He needs to request. He needs to demand to know the will of God, to understand the God by receiving what? The light of sun, by receiving the center day, middle of day, right? That is the knowledge of God. That is the gospel, isn't it? That's why here talking about, instead of Paul, Saul, Saul. Then what is the meaning of Paul? For example, when we go to the Ephesians chapter 1, we'll come back to here. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God, right? So when he understands the will of God, he is not Saul anymore, isn't it? He is the Paul, which is a Greek pronunciation is Paulos, right? Look at the Paulos, the Greek strong number 3972. When we go 3972, Greek 3972, Paulos, they say the little, this is a wrong definition. You see, Paulos, it comes from the 3973, which is what? To stop, okay? Which is come to an end, right? And then primary verb, which is what? Pause. So he was inquire, he was demanding, he was keep questioning to understand the will of God, to have the knowledge of God, to receive the light, right? And then when he come to an end, when he get the conclusion, when he get the answer, pause and what? Stopped. He doesn't need to asking again. He doesn't need to demand again. He doesn't ask, inquire again, right? Because he got the answer. So from that point, he is preaching. He has a mouth of God. He become the Lasteram, life-giving spirit, to save others, right? Loving the neighbors, right? Pay the debt as a debtor, right? So that is the Saul transformed to become the Paul status. That's why here it says Saul, 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 right? Go back to the 26:13 Act. So Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And then 15, so I said, who are you, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and stand on your feet. Because he is not able to deliver the message of God, right? Based upon the Roman chapter 10 is talking about beautiful feet, right? To bring the glad tidings, right? So stand on your feet. I have appeared to you for this purpose, to make you a minister and witness both the things which you have seen of the things which I will yet reveal to you. I will deliver you from the Jewish people. Actually, there is no such Jewish in this world, okay? If you just look at that, ek tu lau, out of the people. There is no such Jewish people, okay? Out of the people, as well as from the Gentiles, to whom I now send you, to open their eyes, in order to turn them from darkness to light. So Saul's status is the darkness, right? Paul's status is light status, right? So from darkness to light, and then from the power of Satan. So then what is the darkness then? Darkness is the power of Satan, but when we're looking at the Greek text is exousias, tes exousias to satana, which is the authority of the Satan, authority of the Satan. So who got the authority on the darkness? The Satan has the authority of the darkness. And then to God is what? God is light. Darkness is authority of Satan. That they may receive forgiveness. This is forgiveness, which is a wrong translation also. You see, aphesis. Aphesis is not forgiveness. Aphesis comes from the apiemi. Apiemi is the compound word. Apo is of. Hiemi is the sand. So you have a break. Okay, apo is the break. Stop. Cessation. Departure. Divorcing, right? And then you release, right? When we go to the dictionary, aphesis, it is a release. 859. 859. They says freedom and pardon, though it's not the freedom. You go to the Thayer dictionary, you see here, release from bondage and imprisonment. This is the better definition. So release from sin, right? Release from the authority of Satan, because the prison is open. We learned that from the Isaiah chapter 60, 58 or 60, right? When the Spirit of God is upon me that time, right? So, authority of Satan to God, which is the darkness to light. And then therefore King Agrippa, I was not disobedient to the heavenly vision. So light shine in Saul's heart. Then Saul transformed to become the poor. Stop asking. He has the answer. About the knowledge of God, about the gospel, when we go to the Colossians chapter 2 verse 2 to 3, it's talking about the wisdom and knowledge that was hidden. Let's go there. Colossians 2:2. Start from 1. For I want you to know what a great conflict I have for you and those in Laodicea. You know what the Laodicea means? In the Greek word is the Laodikeia. Laos, we just saw from the Acts chapter 26, right? Laos is people. Dikeia is the justice. Justice of people. Let's go to look at the dictionary, 2993. You see here, Laodicea, justice of people. Laos is the people, Laos. And then decay is the right and just. And then this Laodikeia is showing the one of the seventh church. Actually, that is the seventh church among seven churches, right? When we go to the book of Revelation chapter 3. So that is the church name, Laodicea. For as many as have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts may be encouraged. You see, encourage is the wrong translation here. The Greek word is parakletoshin. The lemma is parakaleo. Okay? So parakletoshin ai kardian auton. You know, third person plural is the subject is right here. The hearts. Their heart invite near. Their heart. Whose heart? Saul's heart, right? We are all the Saul, okay? Not just the person who's Apostle Paul in the Bible. I am the Apostle Paul, okay? I am the Saul. So my Saul status, which is my inquire, demanding, asking status, has to be get the answer, right? And then once we get the answer, we become the stop. Apostle Paul, right? We are doing the same work, right? As the last era, okay? That's why invite near. What is invite near? Their heart, right? My heart needs to be invited to receive what? To receive the light, to receive the knowledge of God, right? To receive the understanding of God, right? That's why when we go to the John chapter 15, Jesus said to his disciple, you didn't select me, right? I choose you. I select you, right? Because he was inviting the Apostle Peter, Apostle John, or his disciples, right? Mm-hmm. And he selected them. He chose them to shine, right? That's why when we go to the New Testament Hebrew, and God chose us. God is invite us to near to receive this light. So it is not encouraged, okay? Their hearts may be invited near, being knit together in love, and attaining to all riches of the full assurance of understanding. Why he invite us? To get the full assurance of understanding, the knowledge of God, to know the true Jesus, to understand the gospel, to receive the Holy Spirit instead of another Jesus, another different spirit, different gospel, right? To the knowledge of mystery of God. Yes, that's why there is the mystery. Because it is all happening where? Inside me. That's why it is mystery. Okay? Both of the Father and of Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasure of wisdom and the knowledge. That's why the treasure is in the earthen vessel, right? That treasure is what? Treasure is the wisdom and the knowledge, right? Now this I say, lest anyone should deceive you. Who deceive you? The Satan deceive you. The messenger of Satan deceive you by providing what? Another Jesus, different spirit, different gospel, wasn't it? So, lest anyone should deceive you with persuasive words, right? That's why Christos Jesus invite near to give us the hidden wisdom and knowledge, which is the mystery of kingdom of heaven. That it all happening inside me. So I, as the Saul status, transform to become the Paulos. That is the Paul. That's why whoever has this wisdom, whoever has this knowledge, they are able to count the number. When we go to the Revelation 13:18, it's talking about people who has this wisdom, who has this knowledge, people who receive this great light, they are able to count. Let's go to look at the Revelation 13:18. Before we go down to 18, understanding the background, this is happening in the seventh trumpet sound. Then I stood on the sand of the sea. I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 7 horns. On his own, 10 crowns. On his heads, a blasphemous name. Okay. So now we see here the beast. The beast came out of the sea, right? And then there's another one. Before we go down, verse 4 says, they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast. So dragon gave the authority to the beast who came out of the sea, okay? And they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him, right? And then we coming down. And then here, if anyone has an ear, let him hear, right? And then 11, I saw another beast, right? Coming out of the earth, right? So now we see two beasts, right? And then one dragon, right? So one beast coming out of the sea. And then dragon give the authority, right? Then what authority are we talking? We just saw that, right? From the Act chapter 26. Authority of what? Satan, right? That authority of Satan is what? Darkness, right? What is the darkness again? The knowledge of serpent, right? What is the knowledge of serpent? I just repeatedly say that, right? Another Jesus, different spirit, different gospel, right? So this one came out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, spoke like a dragon, right? And then we coming down, and then here 17, no one may buy or sell, okay, except one who has the mark or name of the beast, okay. So what is the name of the beast then? We go back to where? Nahashi, right? Nahashi. When we go to the Genesis chapter 3, okay? So the serpent is the name of the beast of the field, right? Nahashi. What is the Nahashi means? Enchantment, right? Spell, right? And learn by experience, right? So dragon, beast, the beast coming out of the sea, beast coming out of the earth, it is all as a one group, isn't it? Same role, right? Just different level, right? So where is the dragon? When we go to the book of Revelation, Michael, it's in the heaven, isn't it? Right? So dragon is in the heaven. And then the beast, the first one mentioned where? Sea. And then another beast is where? On the earth, right? So he is the Air Force. He is the Navy. He is the Army, right? All three military is all combined forces, isn't it? Right? So they can go all over the place. In the air, on the earth, in the ocean, right? So, because they are all authority of the Satan, they have a darkness, they have the knowledge, they spread it out. They are giving and sell, right? Buy and sell. Except one who has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? So name of the beast is the same as the number of the name, right? So look at the mark. Kragma. They translate mark, and then this is the exactly image, stamped. Let's go to look at the dictionary, 5480. You see, stamp, imprinted mark, right? And mark stamp on the forehead and right hand as the badge of the follower of the Antichrist. The mark branded upon horses, thin carved sculpture, graven work, idolatrous image, right? That is the kragma. So that kragma, right? Talking about you are who's possessed. You belong to where, right? So if you are belong to beast, if you are belong to the name of the beast, the number of beast, and then here is the wisdom. So this wisdom I can receive automatically, isn't it? How can I receive this one? You have to become a what status? Sour status, isn't it, right? You need to keep asking. You need to keep demanding. You need to keep inquiring to become the what? To become the poor. So you receive this light. You receive this light in my darkness, in my heart, right? And then let him who has understanding. You see, they says the Here, 호대 소피아. Here the wisdom exists. The one having the nun. The one having the understanding, intellectual, counted the number of the beast. Number for number of man, right? So beast is the man, man is the beast, right? So whoever receiving the knowledge from the serpent, Adam and Eve turns to what? Beast, right? Whoever received the knowledge from the God, you turns to become the what? Gods, right? So anthropos, human being, is in the middle, okay? Because you are the nephesh haya, you are the breathing creature, right? And not only the human being is the breathing creature, all living creature, they need oxygen, right? To maintain their body, right? Mm-hmm. So, number of beasts is the number of men. Here it says man, but this is the anthropos, number of human being, right? So, are you going to, you as a human being, are you going to transform to become a beast? Are you going to transform to become the God, which is a God's living? We already learned from the John chapter 10, verse 34 and 35. Jesus said, you are gods. Haven't you read from the Old Testament Psalm, right? We already say that. So that God's is the God's living, right? Then the word becomes perfect status. I already mentioned about that when we start the John chapter 1, verse 1. So, calculate the number of beasts. Count the number of beasts. That number of men. Number is what? 666. You see, exa koshoi, execonta x. That is the 666. I put it on my sermon note here. Exa koshoi, which is the 600. Execonta, which is the 60. And then x, that is 6. All number in the Bible has to understand as what? Meaning, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for us to understand the numbers meaning, we have to look at what? Look at the Hebrew word, isn't it? Mm-hmm. About 666, when we go to the Old Testament Bible, it shows once talking about the King Solomon. Let's go to there. 1 King 10:14. 1 King 10:14 is talking about Queen of Sheba and then Solomon. 14. Start from the 13. Now King Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba all she desired, whatever she asked, beside her, according to the royal generosity. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servant. The weight of gold they came to Solomon yearly was 666 talents of gold. Beside that, from the traveling merchant, from the income of trader, from all the kings of Arabia, from the governors of the country, right? So here talking about 666, the number talking about here, right? 600, you see here? Meot, 660. Shishim, right? And 6. Ve, shishi, right? Ve, shishi. Then what is the 666 means then? You see shishi meot, shishi meot. When we're talking about 6, you see the shishi, shishi, shishi. Those are all 6 means. Okay? 6 has two different meanings. One is the strong number, 8338, shasha. Shasha means to annihilate, which is exterminate, right? Another one, 7797, shus. Shus is the to be bright, rejoice. So 6 is the day of 6 among the 7 days process. So 6th day is the critical side, right? Whether you're going to annihilate, exterminate it, or you become bright and rejoice to become one with Christos Jesus, right? And look at the shishi is the two teeth in the Hebrew alphabet meaning, right? And then shasha is who has it. The last one is aleph, right? So these two teeth is whose teeth? My human nature teeth, isn't it? Right? Which is aleph. But this susu is between the two teeth. What is existing? Vav, right? What is the vav? Mediator, right? Which is a connecting link, right? So who is this vav then? Christos Jesus, right? So between your two teeth, upper teeth and lower teeth, you are chewing, right? You chewing the word of God, right? Jesus say, I am the living bread, right? In my flesh, right? Drinking my blood, right? So we receive the mediator's knowledge. We receive the mediator's understanding, right? Then you become bright. Then you become the last Adam. You are the light of the world. But person who eat and drink with your own knowledge, you will be what? Annihilate. You will be exterminated. Then you are belong to who then? The beast out of the sea, beast out of the earth, and the dragon in the sky, isn't it? Which is the believing the another Jesus, receiving the different gospel, live by the different spirit, right? So that is the 6 means. Then what is the 600 means? Shisu meot. You see, meot means ot is the sign. So you are exterminate, annihilate out of the sign. What kind of sign is this one talking about? When we go to the John, Jesus talking this way. John chapter 6. This John chapter 6, Jesus talking about, I am the living bread, I am drinking my blood in my flesh. That is the chapter, John chapter 6. Before we go down there, when we go to, in the middle, Jesus blessed, and then he has the 5 barleys, bread, right? And then he has 5 bread and then 2 fishes, isn't it, right? And then 5,000 people eat, right? 5,000 people eat. And then fill the 12 basket with a fragment of 5 barley loaves, and then which were left over by those who has eaten, right? And then those men, people who ate it, when they had seen the sign that Jesus did, said, this is truly prophet who is to come into the world. They look at the sign from the what? 5 bread and 2 fishes. They thought that's the sign, isn't it? Right? But Jesus says, who is the sign? Jesus himself is the sign, isn't it? Right? But they are looking for the different sign, isn't it? Which is a different Jesus. Another Jesus, different gospel, different spirit, right? That's why Jesus perceived that they were about to come, take him by force, make him king. He departed again, right? And then to the mountain by himself alone. So with that one, we go down 26. Jesus said this way. Jesus answered to the disciple, most assuredly I say you sing me not because you saw the sign, not because you understand the sign that I showing you using the 5 bread and 2 fishes, right? I am the sign, right? But they are understanding the sign only looking at the 2 bread and then 5 fishes, isn't it? That's why you saw the sign, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Do not work for the food which perishes, but for the food which endure everlasting life. He want to show you everlasting life showing sign. But they receive the sign that is perishes, isn't it? That's why 600 is the annihilate out of sign. They look at perishable sign, they are annihilate. So, annihilate out of sign. What is the 60 means? 60 yod mem is the plural form. That is one ministry then. Annihilate, ministry, right? Because they are annihilated out of the sign, so their working should be annihilating ministry, isn't it? And then what is the 6? So they are concluded as the annihilate. They are exterminated, right? That is the 666 means. But people who misunderstanding the book of Bible, which is my entire salvation process, they are trying to apply all those things in many different ways, isn't it? Earthly things, right? So they are all what? Receiving the number of beasts, right? And they are the number of human beings, isn't it? Which is annihilate ministry. They are looking at the different sign, right? Instead of Jesus Christ as a sign, true signs, right? And then they are ended up annihilate, right? So then whoever received the Christos Jesus, he himself as a sign, what is their numbers then? When we go to the Matthew book of Revelation chapter 14, it says what? 144,000. That is the meaning of God. So we are going to study about that in the future. As the last one, let's go to the 1 John 2, 7 and 8. To 7 and 8. Brethren, I write no new commandment to you, but an old commandment which you had from the beginning. The old commandment is the word that you heard from the beginning, right? A new commandment I write to you, which thing is true in him and in you, because darkness is passing away, true light is already shining. People who does not receive true light, then they are belong to what? Old commandment, right? Because Bible text itself does not change, right? Old commandment, new commandment is the same text. But person who receiving the light, it becomes new commandment, right? Person who never received the light, the knowledge of God, the understanding of God, they are still remain as the Old Testament, isn't it? That's why here it says, darkness is passing away. The true light is what? Already shine. True light is already shine. So they're talking about the darkness is my knowledge, is passed by, and the true light, that is the Christos Jesus knowledge is already, that is the appears, which is the same thing, okay? Same thing. True light already, you see, Pino, B-I-P-A. But English just translating as what? I-N-G form, isn't it? Shining, right? Which is appear, okay? Appear. So when the light appeared in the darkness, then what happened? My knowledge transformed to become the Christos Jesus knowledge. And then Saul transformed to become Paul, right? 666 transformed to become the 144,000. Next Sunday, we are going to learn more detail about darkness did not take eagerly the light.